It is the Christmas edition of the Dialogue 2023. My name is Sima Apollo, and it is time to look at those big events that made headlines within the week. Welcome aboard. It is the big show. On the panel, as usual, Dr. Jedwabwile Wanzala, public policy researcher, will be taking us through those big stories. Richard Baguma Tinkasimire, a communication expert, will also be joining us, but also we have the Honorable Stephen Mauku Mugore, Kabweri County MP, will be on the show this morning, but we have also a special guest who will be joining us later on to look at other big and important issues. Welcome once again, and let's kick off the show looking at the big stories. The Opposition National Unity Platform made changes in the leadership in the party and more specifically in Parliament. A new leader of opposition in Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, replacing the Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, whose term of office 2.5 years elapsed this month of December. A surprise reshuffle there, a surprise switch there, but we'll be probing what exactly this means, especially as we look at 2026, and of course shining a spotlight on specific leaders in this reshuffle, a 48-man opposition cabinet. We'll look at that. But again, in this particular week, again, another development at Parliament, when the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, handed over 5 luxurious vehicles to former Speakers of Parliament. Well, it started debate here and there. People are looking at it as an act of extravagance, while others indeed agree that it is a legality provided within the law, and it's meant to make the retired government officials comfortable in retirement. We'll also be probing that particular issue. But as we wind up the program, there is a lot of advocacy against alcohol consumption in Uganda. We know very well that Uganda holds #1 position in Africa on alcohol consumption. The alcohol burden is indeed serious. We'll be looking at the alcohol burden, the burden of alcohol consumption in this country, on the economy, on the health sector, and on the general population. My name, once again, is Sima Apollo. Dr. Richard Wanzala, speak to our viewers, and we kick off the dialogue this morning.
Good morning, our viewers. Merry Christmas. Of course, I will not have any other day to say Merry Christmas to our viewers. And Apple,
yes, sir.
And for decorating the studio last week, my daughter watched.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Dad, now you also have Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that we have come to the end of the year. And of course, special thanks to you, our viewers, for the time you spend with us. A whole year you have been with us. Without you, this show can be nothing.
Can you specifically point out some of those ardent viewers of Salt TV, the Dialogue?
Oh yeah, I will begin with my colleague from the United Republic of Chirinya, Joel.
Major Team Joel.
I think he's an outstanding viewer.
Yeah,
of
true.
course, there is Abel. Abel from
Abel Kairu.
Shaka, Kairu. I think I knew Kairu some years back.
Okay.
And he has taken so many years, I don't know where he disappeared.
Wow.
Until he started sending messages. And of course, there is Mayor Salongo in Semuto.
Yeah, true.
And then in Viri, the mayor, there is a chairperson of the Entrepreneurs League in Buyende.
Wow.
So I think those are our ardent supporters.
I know of some other supporters there. In Post Bank, there is a gentleman in Post Bank. I think I forget the name, but my elder brother, Mesusela Himbisibwe in Lubulogota, he tells me he's always watching the dialogue. Merry Christmas.
And I forgot a very important group.
Okay.
Those guys requested you for a giant screen.
Yes.
In Bubutu Town Council.
In Bubutu. Really?
Yes. They gather together and watch this show.
Wow.
In the town council every Saturday.
Yeah, there is Eric in Mutungo. He also watches this show. And very many, silent viewers out there in the diaspora. People are watching directly from United States of America. I think Julie in USA also sends in some messages once in a while. People are watching in from Chisolo, across the country, in the western part, Fort Portal. We have very many people watching, and we appreciate you. It's time to appreciate you.
I'm impressed with the numbers on YouTube. Every time I check, the numbers are rising.
Yeah.
And of
those
course,
who are
what
watching
I can
online.
assure you, I got a contact from the United Arab Emirates. They are concerned about the quality of security guards that we take, and therefore I got an email because of this show.
Wow.
From the UAE, a National Security Institute, looking for opportunities to train our guards here in security matters customized to UAE before they go to the Middle East.
Wow.
Maybe you and the pastor will do something about it.
All right. Well, it is indeed an honor to have you, loyal, supporters of the Dialogue and Salt Media at large, and we appreciate you. It's time to appreciate you. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for watching the Dialogue, and especially those who send in their comments and observations, who the people we meet out there, and they tell us that we are doing a great job. Thank you so much. As we wind up 2023, really it was important to appreciate our viewers. Well, how's the week, Dr. Gerald?
The week was not really bad. People are in the festive mood.
Yeah, true.
They are doing the shopping. I only have two areas of concern. One, the deaths on the road.
Yep.
Please, our drivers, our passengers, if you are in a taxi and you believe that someone is overtaking in the wrong place, please, you have the right to stop that person.
Yeah.
Let's mind about the speed, the cars,
Yep.
you know, and then our behavior on the road. Because what do you earn by working the whole year, then you die in Christmas because of a road crash? We have to do something about it.
Yeah.
The other, of course, is the rebel attack in
Yes, the
Kamwenje.
10 people who were killed in
Exactly.
that rebel
My
attack.
sympathies, because the people in Ibanda, Kamwenje, actually across the Rwenzori sub-region are not having very good Christmas. They are scared, and of course the security level is class 1. Because if you make noise, then you will not know the movement of the enemy. In the words of President Museveni, you have to listen. So please, you listen to the orders of the security, be conscious of the strangers in the area, and of course, that girl who was able to escape from the killers.
Yeah.
The hero that the president said wants to meet. I think she's my hero of the year.
Really?
Yes.
Well, talking about Christmas, indeed, the festive season, it's really important to tell our viewers that we have life after all this. When you're traveling up country, when you're even in the media engagement we had with President Museveni last evening, he hinted on being vigilant around this particular, festive season. Especially on the issue of terrorists, as I say, you're moving in public transport, you're congregating and enjoying. He said we should be vigilant. It's not good to lose lives.
And of course, this morning, I had the opportunity to pass downtown. I appreciate. The security guys are very conscious at the entrance of big shopping centers.
Exactly.
I'm only concerned,
in markets.
I'm only concerned that they're minding about borders, but they're not minding about people who walk in.
Okay.
They think those are innocent. but they need to be vigilant.
Quickly, before we kick off the show again, Dr. Jerry Ranzala, one comment specifically on the elections in the DRC and the decision of a court in the USA blocking Donald Trump's, to come back, to bounce back in the upcoming elections. Because I was concerned that the DRC government in Kinshasa blocked observers from the East African community to oversee the general elections in DRC.
And I will say it over and again. We forget very fast. One of the reasons why the East African community collapsed was because of the mistrust between Idi Amin, Nyerere, and the leadership in Kenya. So what is manifesting right now is great mistrust, because you know that the Congo had just expelled the East African standby force that were keeping the peace there. And then also, of course, I will not fear to say it, the last election in DRC that brought in President Tshisekedi was largely monitored. And then his opponent, Fayulu, was supported by the Catholic Church all over DRC. He won the election, and then it was a shock when a third candidate was sworn in
as president.
And an alliance between Tshisekedi. So Tshisekedi was a beneficiary of a stolen election. So if I see him expelling observers from the EAC, I will not be shocked if he loses, say, to Dr. Chitumbi, Mose, because he's a force. I have seen this time.
Katumbi.
Fayulu is down this time. But I will not be shocked to see that if he lost, he can still be sworn in. It is a story we have, because in Africa we pretend about democracy, but actually we don't know. The way we pretend about religion, we pretend about everything, even democracy.
Okay.
We have a hybrid system. We say let's hold elections because we want to associate with the international community, but we don't believe in what we do.
Elections.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that this particular election may turn violent? I mean, they've gone to polls, but there could be after election violence or post-election violence.
I predict that after election, Congo is going to continue to be the way it is. And at some point, people are mooting the idea that maybe Congo needs a separate state in the east. Probably it will cause a solution. But that is also questionable. Because we split Sudan, and is South Sudan any better? No.
Anyway, and one comment on Trump being blocked from a court.
One thing is that U.S. is a democracy of hundreds of years. And I believe in the court systems. It's not a banana republic that you'll order a judge, and there are so many think tanks, there are so many, private prosecutors, there's people of, say. So if the state of Colorado, the Supreme Court of Colorado, says Trump is not eligible and they're invoking a section of the Constitution, if the law says so, who are you? Now, but he has the right to appeal.
Yeah, true.
Only that I'm seeing that other states like Arizona, the other two states that are also handling similar cases. So at the end of the day, if they say he cannot run, a number of states can prevent him to participate in the primaries.
Yeah, because already the election calendar is running.
Exactly. But for me, I think he's one of the most divisive politicians I have ever witnessed in the United States.
Really? All right, this is the dialogue. Now we come back to look at the other big stories for discussion this morning. Let's look at the reshuffle that was announced by, is it a reshuffle or a shuffle? Just a shuffle, because it was the first time the opposition cabinet is making changes.
Well, we can call it a shuffle because they have not reshuffled a number of times.
We talk about a shuffle of the opposition leadership, the opposition cabinet bringing again a 49-man cabinet. Even switching the top leadership in Matthias Impuga, and here comes the Nakawa West MP Joel Senyonyi. And I call it a surprise switch in leadership. I don't know what Wanzala and others will call it, but again, we need to look at and somehow analyze the capabilities and capacities and competencies of the new leadership, and of course, looking at the whole list, which I think my producer will run on that screen, you see something unique about it. Very few have retained their positions in that team of the opposition. And I will ask you, Dr. Jerry Wanzala, if you have a football team, any change sends a signal that maybe the intended goals have not been achieved. That's one. Or maybe in this case we can say that it is democracy. People or leaders must come and serve and go. I don't know what you make of it, but let's start from there. What do you make of this switch in the opposition leadership?
Even before that, for the benefit of the viewers, I want to say that there are two laws that govern Parliament. The Administration of Parliament Act and the Rules of Procedure.
Yeah, true.
Now, under the Administration of the Parliament Act, the Office of the Leader of Opposition is created as a leader of the entire opposition, not a leader of NUP in Parliament. And also now, if you go to the Rules of Procedure, we have the sanctional committees and the standing committees and those offices. So after every 2.5 years, like for the Office of the Leader of Opposition, your mandate has to be renewed. So you can either be retained or you can be changed. And you remember that Professor Ogenga Latigo served the entire 5 years because the FDC agreed so at that time. So because why I wanted to make it clear is that I've been moving around. Even when you hear on radio, people are misleading, hey, they have chased so and so, they have done this and that. But what happened is a normal process. It's a normal process. And after this, the NRM is also going to announce the leadership of their committees
in Parliament,
and probably it will be followed by a reshuffle of cabinet, as we expect. The president promised that he will take action on some people, like the iron sheet thieves. So at the end of the day, we are going to see these changes probably up to January. And I believe that the head of state this time might have this Christmas in a retreat somewhere. With the Central Executive Committee of the NRM, because usually what he does is before he deploys commissioners of Parliament, he sits with his team. It is only cabinet where he has the
he usually keeps it
tight until exactly. So for me, I saw it as something not. But the other thing is that for you to be a leader of opposition, when you have to good intellectual abilities. You have to be a team leader. You have to be someone who has a grasp of the conduct of parliamentary business, including rules of procedure, and also someone who is very good in conflict management. Because at times you see on the floor of Parliament, the tempers go high. And then when do you lead your troops? When do you do what? So for me, before even I come to the new one, I can say that Mpuga, the Honorable Mpuga, as a leader of opposition, he was above the bar. He performed. When he came, he unveiled the legislative agenda, which we reviewed. You guys, you saw it, the parliamentary press, focusing on human rights, on bills, constitutional amendment. But you see now, the English have a saying that the real taste of a pudding is in the eating. So when you are eating, that's when you know whether something is really hard to chew or not soft. So when he entered there, it became extremely hard for him to pass a number of these things. But also in the middle of his administration, we saw people were thinking that it was being too soft. For instance, we, the monitors of Parliament, at some point were very uncomfortable when Parliament...
That is the list running there. Leader of Opposition Joe Senyonyi, Chief Opposition Whip Nambeshe John, Deputy Whip Zake Francis, Commissioner Mathias Mpuga, Human Rights Minister Shamim Malende, KCCA Minister Balimwezo Nsubuga, Lands Minister Rutamaguse Makula, Foreign Affairs Minister Nkunyinji Muwada, Finance Minister Semu Junganda, and many others. We may not complete that whole list. Can go on.
So, as monitors of Parliament, at one point we were a bit uncomfortable because bills started passing very rapidly. And then we got that the speakers and the leader of opposition had reached a consensus that a small team would look at the bills behind the scenes, and then when a bill is brought in the House,
there is much
little contention about it. So that we thought that we would deny the people of Uganda from being represented effectively, because if you have a House of 529 MPs and then only 10 pass a bill, it means that the input probably from the others is not included. So I think that one played out also in the NUP headquarters, where he was accused of probably being too soft on this. And we saw under pressure towards the end of his term, he went to the former Mathias Mpuga of F4C Activists for Change, who commanded the walk to work. Exactly. So for me, but what I can say is that it is a difficult context, but he performed. Now looking at the new leadership of the opposition in the Parliament, with due respect to the Honorable Senyonyi, I think he did well in Kosase, but sometimes, you know, there's no...
He did well, but remember he was accused of doing little work. You remember handling very few reports. I mean, working on very few reports during that first quarter of the year.
Yes, I think he handled, but of course even the accuser, his accuser, also at some point grabbed the report that Senyonyi wanted to make public. Until that report was leaked to the press, that's when we were able to know the recommendations from the report. So he performed, but in my own opinion, probably I know certain characters in that Parliament that I believe can serve better in the opposition of the leader of opposition. For instance, Mwanga Chivumbi.
Oh yeah.
Chivumbi, of course, I'm not saying that Public Accounts Committee is small, where he has been deployed, but he has been a star performer. If you look at the many minority reports, digesting the budget, as Shadow Minister of Finance, and then rising on occasion in debate, and then sometimes even pulling the crowds from the NRM side, I think Mwanga Chivumbi, for me, would have been only that. A number of media houses and individuals even in the ruling government have been praising him as kind of campaigning for him to be the new Lop. Of course, that one must have raised the eyebrows in the Kamocha. But, well, there is no school of experience. Let's give the Honorable Senyonyi a chance. When he was at UBC working there as a presenter, I was also working there. And I know he's someone who listens.
He's someone who listens.
And
but making a switch at, I mean, in the middle of the game, because there was a chance to give, there was an opportunity to give Mpuga a second chance or a second term. But the leadership in Kamocha or in Kavule did not do that. What do you pick from there? Relating to what I said, shuffling a football team in the middle of the game means two things. it may mean that possibly you have not achieved the goals and you want to change tactics and strategy.
I
What-
think
what do you pick?
I cannot discuss actually the politics in parliament without looking at the broader political setup of the country. If I look at this reshuffle, I have seen FDC Katonga, Nyakato, Asinas, Gilbert Olanya. I have seen there another Anna Adeke Baju.
They've been brought on
They
board.
have been brought on board. I've seen Semuju Nganda
Yep.
inside. And I have seen a number of functions now. In fact, I laughed yesterday. I shared a video on one of the platforms when they were going for the national prayers of the opposition. And I saw Bobby Wine bouncing in front, and then Mugisha Muntia, Besigye is following, and then the Honorable Wafula Ogutu, Winnie Kiza, and Bobby Wine was smiling. So I said, there are certain things of God that are very unpredictable. That whoever knew that
Bobby
in
Wine
2023, Bobby Wine will be walking in front
Of Dr. Besigye.
and Dr. Besigye and others whom we
following.
thought would be the presidents of this country are following. They have no choice. So it shows you that there is politics is moving somewhere where NUP and maybe FDC Katonga like-minded people who believe in a aggressive approach
Okay.
towards changing the regime in this country are now coalesced around.
So Mpuga may not
around-
have played the ball the way that fits into the strategy
I saw,
of NUP.
I'm now seeing the reshuffle rewarding loyalty.
Okay.
Loyalty that those who are loyal must be rewarded.
Mpuga may not have been loyal to
I have been around
the
Uganda and
force
the
in
corridors
Kamboja.
of parliament, and I can assure you, you as a Secretary General of the Uganda Parliamentary Press Association, you must have come through those rumors. There were groups in NUP who were thinking that probably our leader is not good enough. Maybe Mpuga can make a better president.
Oh, yeah.
And I can assure you that intelligence reached Bobby Wine.
then there was a sense of insecurity.
Insecurity.
Oh.
And once insecurity sets in, you have to do something if you want to remain on the top.
So it's a combination of possibly the insecurities in the leadership in Kamboja and
the politics.
the politics
of the
around
country.
parliament.
Exactly. We know we are going we are in an electoral cycle.
Yeah.
By 2025, actually the electoral cycle starts this year, next year, 2024. So in 2025, we are supposed to see nominations
Yeah.
of president or parliament. So people are preparing. And if you are preparing, you feel that if your approach is to play maybe 2-2-4 in football, maybe 2-4-4, then now you
time
need
to
the
attack.
two strikers to attack, and then you have to put some on the reserve bench. And that is what is happening right now. And that's what I saw.
So
there's a reward
you
of
look at
loyalty.
Joel Senyonya as a formidable force to lead the attack.
Yes, even when we scrutinize these people independently, Mpuga is more experienced. He has been around. This is, I think, his third term in parliament. And then he was in Activists for Change. He worked closely with Dr. Besigye. They are more experienced. Now we are seeing certain good people being rewarded for who emerged with Bobby Wine, who took risks and said, I abandoned my career, let me demonstrate with, you know, I think he can trust
He left
those more.
he walked out of the newsroom and went
And then went
straight
into
to the
protest,
street.
demonstrating on the
To demonstrate
streets,
on the
and then he, of course, among all constituencies, winning in Akawa when you don't have.
So there is rewarding royalty.
Yes.
There
Then
is-
looking at the
there's looking at
2026
the
elections.
Yes, that the 2026 elections.
Yes.
But again, the strategy also must change.
Absolutely.
There's that thinking that the strategy must change. Mpuga's diplomatic way of handling things may not work at this point in time.
The Honorable Bobby Wine has repeatedly said that he was in that parliament. He served there for 5 years. And he said that that parliament cannot change anything. He doesn't believe that anything can change through that parliament. And that is also the reasoning of Dr. Besigye. Dr. Besigye has really said that we participate in these processes just for awareness, civic awareness, but he doesn't believe they can bring about
change. There is
change.
The necessary,
Exactly.
The desired
The
change.
statements they always say is that they must use the masses and overwhelm what they call a dictator. Exactly. So I see those forces gathering together.
So from your experience, what do you see is going to happen in Parliament? I spoke to the Right Honourable Robina Nabanja yesterday, and she was smiling ear to ear. I'm going to munch him like Sumbusa. That's what he was. that you see, I have managed Mpuga. What will Jojo Senyonyi do to me? So.
You know, I like the Honourable Nabanja.
What do you envisage in Parliament with Joe Senyonyi leading the pack, and because he will be facing off with the Right Honourable Robina Nabanja?
Yeah, that is if she bounces back, changed. For me, I am thinking that I respect the Honourable Nabanja as Prime Minister and coordinator of the government business ministries.
The leader of government business.
But I think it was so wise to have a deputy leader of government business, which the current, who is the current occupant? It used to
Rebecca
be
Kadaga is the first deputy.
No, they used to have an office which Moses Ali used to lead as a deputy leader of government business in Parliament.
It is Sangana Kadama, the third.
Yes. So for me, actually, I see that maybe the Honourable Nabanja needs to disengage from the flow of Parliament and leave the Honourable Lukia Nakadama, because every time there is a challenge, I look at the Honourable Lukia Nakadama as more articulate, more firm, precise to the point, and I think she communicates with precision and high level of clarity, and she's good in working with others. Now, the Honourable Nabanja, her strength is that of a mobilizer. And that was the weakness of the former Prime Minister, Amama Mbabazi. Because Honourable Amama Mbabazi was smart on the floor, but he was so detached from the people, what's going on the ground, and so forth. So for me, I think, since there are so many people in the office of the Prime Minister this term, but if you have the Honourable Senyonyi this side and you have the Honourable Nabanja this side, I can assure we are going to have a stalemate in that house.
Really?
Yes.
They won't agree. They two won't agree.
One day you might see microphones being grabbed
again.
Do you remember the day the Honourable Nabanja walked in the house like a boxer? So that's like...
It was right, the speaker who held her in her steps. She was furious and like a fuming buffalo. Well, viewers, you can be part of this discussion. You can now go to your message editor, send in your comment, observation on what you think about the opposition cabinet that was announced yesterday, looking at the switch in the leadership of Parliament, bringing in Joel Senyonyi and replacing the Honourable Mathias Mpuga. And of course, we've talked about possibly desire in the change of strategy in handling business in Parliament, but also Dr. Jared Wanzala hinted on possible rewarding of loyalty to the Kamocha leadership. Well, many things to talk about around there, but of course, we wait to see how now Parliament business will be handled. I'm somehow skeptical on the workings between the presiding officer in Parliament, then Joyce Senyonyi here. I don't know how that will work, because we have seen some good working relationship develop between the two, Honorable Mpuga and Triple A. I don't know now what you can talk about.
You see, in the last year, there's something that happened during the investigation of Uganda Airlines. And I think the conflict came from the report. When the report was leaked to the media, and then the speaker said there was a violation of the rules of procedure by leaking a report which has not been adopted and signed by the plenary. Of course, her citing of the rules of procedure was right, was correct. But then there was a public concern because this matter became so public. Many Ugandans were interested. And you know, when Ugandans hear that a person who is heading their corporation has no A level, it sort of has no even a degree, and then the requirements a master's, and the person appears before Parliament and says, I got this job because of the president. And then when they are asked about the academic law, you say, I have never collected from Makere since 1996. So it was an issue. And therefore, you as a chairperson of COSASE, you are concerned. People are asking you what you investigated, what were the results? Of course, without doubt, I know that that report was leaked by the leadership of COSASE, and it caused conflict, and I saw ugly exchanges.
True.
And it's good eventually they...
So you think the relationship between the two will be better?
Frosty.
It is frosty.
I believe that we might see a lot of dramatic instances
in Parliament
because Mpuga is a composed person.
True.
He takes time to look at things and takes time to respond.
Good. Thank you so much. I will now give a chance to your viewers. If you have sent in messages, I'll be looking at them. But before I do that, let me take the honor to introduce to you the Honorable Stephen Mauku Mugole, Member of Parliament for Kabwiri County. We lost our dad, and he was at the burial last weekend. He could not make it. We really still stand with you, but of course, we are happy that you are back. Speak to our viewers.
Thank you, colleague, the panelist, and Prince Apollo, the moderator. First of all, I want to thank people who trekked long journeys to come and send off the late engineer Mauku Ezekiel. He is resting. He has been sick for some time. I remember even the other time I announced it here. He passed on while I was in Senegal. So those 2 weeks I couldn't be here. But I'm happy that I arrived and we sent him off well. I have to appreciate the Bishop of Bukedi who came, the evangelist Kaswabuli who sent a representative, all the people of Kabwiri, all members of parliament who managed to come, despite the fact that we had a number of them in the Iyala Games in Rwanda. But I managed to have around 10 members of parliament at the barrio. Even the Ikumbania also graced the occasion and came for the burial because that is his jaja. So I'm happy. I pay really homage, but also give a bound of thanks to people who came to assist us during the send-off of the late engineer Mauku.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, and let's give us your view on the new opposition cabinet. And it's good you are in that parliament. You have related with the incoming leader of opposition and the outgoing leader of opposition, though now he will be serving as a commissioner of parliament. First and foremost, what do you make of this switch at the middle of the game? I talked about a football team. You are still in the game and you switch the captains of the team. That means there's a big mistake. Maybe the goals are not, the scores are not coming in right.
Yeah, whereas change is always inevitable because it comes as sometimes an end of a contract, because you know people are appointed for a 2.5-year term, and thereafter an evaluation is done whether they should continue or be changed. One is that in the preliminary, I remember one time here when you were comparing how the parliament is doing its work, and you were comparing the current presiding officers with the ones of
The six.
Right Honorable Kadaga and whatever, Right Honorable Kadaga, who had been speaker for 20 years. You could not compare Right Honorable Kadaga with others who have just been in parliament for a short while. But they are catching up. So likely, like the one of Right Honorable Mpuga, you cannot compare Honorable Senyonyi with the Mpuga, who has been in parliament now 12,
is still in his first term.
12 years, 12.5 years, and now this is 2.5 years. First of all, in terms of experience, in terms of stature, you will see that Mpuga will be higher. But also in terms of loyalty, you know, this was a DP block group which went into NOP. I'm sure if it is loyalty, the people who formed the NOP themselves, if Senyonyi was among them, then they are saying it is time that they should also be in that position. But in terms of composure, we are losing something in parliament. We are losing something in parliament as far as conceptualization and looking at
Losing
things.
something in Mpuga.
Yeah, we are losing
Leadership.
No, we are losing something in Mpuga's leadership, because whenever he comes on the floor, he adds value. He adds value. No doubt that Senyonyi will also do some work, but he will have to grow into the job. Nobody is born a leader of opposition, but at least by the time they select one, by the time they selected Mpuga that time, he has really performed. And
He has performed.
we have seen, when you look generally at what happened, one of the best performers are the ones who have been replaced.
So what,
Because I see
Kivumbi,
Honorable Kivumbi has been so articulate in that even as members of NERM, we could put aside an NERM report and go
with his
report, with the opposition report. That shows that the credibility with which he was handling things of finance was enormous. But we find that even that one has changed. It has been given to Honorable.
But he's going to, is it Park?
Yeah, even if you go to Park, you see there are differences in parliament, even rules of procedure, that when the Minister of Finance speaks, the next person to speak should be the minister, and the alternative minister on the other side, not you in Park. It is you to give a statement. So for you to go
I agree.
to
I
Park,
agree with you on that issue.
those
of finance.
two have been superb in
was really
the
good.
opposition. Mpuga has really worked so well. He is highly
So what
composed.
do you think, Honorable, is the motivation from Kamocha or Kavule to switch experience with loyalty, like you said?
Yeah,
Favor
the motivation
loyalty
is
ahead of
majorly
experience.
loyalty and also style. The Kamoncha style is that one of agitation.
Rwabadoba.
Yeah, agitation.
They call it
And I
Rwabadoba.
can assure if they come with the style of agitation, they will not go any headway.
Really?
Because the dictatorship of numbers always works. And two, the presidium will not allow, because they're the ones who are in charge. They will not allow that one.
So what will happen if they don't
What
allow?
will happen, it will be, they will lose it.
Are you
all.
not predicting chaos in Parliament?
There can never be chaos in the parliament with when the NRM, who are
We have seen it
almost three
before.
times.
In
No,
2017, the army had to come in to quell the chaos in Parliament.
okay, if it is in that dimension, we don't expect it to reach that level either this time. And I know even Senyonyi will cool down. Even Senyonyi will cool down, even if he comes with that hype, it will go down. Because he even stated himself that he's not just coming, he's going to lead a team. I hope he has been in the media for so long.
Yeah.
He's in fact
He's grounded in media.
is your colleague.
Journalism.
So yeah, in journalism. So he knows how to put a point.
Yeah.
He knows how to put a point, to communicate. So we hope that he will do so. I'm telling you that in the preliminary, it will be a little rough road, but
He will catch up.
He will catch up, and with the support of Right Honorable
What if it
Mpuga.
is the strategy from Kamocha that go into that parliament, create chaos, make things unusual, do the unusual?
We are strategists. I wonder whether there are people who can strategize like NRM. We shall strategize. We are strategists, and once we find that is the purpose, if it is not just normal business, that they will come and put the 11th Parliament into chaos, we shall sit back.
Okay, thank you so
And
much,
strategize
guys.
for that.
And I think it is time to look at the comments and observations coming in. We are only 3-4 minutes to the break, but let me look at this gentleman here. Thank you so much, guys, for recognizing us as die-hard viewers. Much obliged. Making changes in the opposition leadership is a very normal thing and depicts democracy. My only concern is those saying that my name Sikh Joel is inexperienced. Namesake. That's what he was saying. This is Joel in Chilinya, saying his namesake. That those who are saying his namesake Joel is inexperienced, as if there is a supermarket or arcade in this world where experience is bought. Let's give him
Experience is
support.
both on the job.
Let's give him support and how he performs at the end of the time. Joel's cabinet is competent enough to help him succeed. My bad of the year is the he picks out the incident and he says the various ADF attacks on innocent citizens and the reckless road accidents caused by some lousy drivers, and the good of the year is the good health and the gift of life, all thanks to the Almighty God. Thank you so much, Major Tim Joel in Chirinya, for this of course comment. He talks about a good team that may support him. I mean the new leader of opposition, the incoming leader of opposition, that he has a good team that may support him. If you run through that list, do you see a good team that will help him?
Yes.
Possibly make
That team, the team is not bad, because first of all, apart from changes, Right
John
Honorable
Baptist Nambeshe retains
the position. Yes. So
Honorable Zake goes to the
Deputy Chief
Whip.
Whip and the Minister for Defense.
uh-huh.
Minister for Defense.
They have a commissioner in Mpuga.
Yes. So the team is crisp.
Oh.
Very good. I have no doubt. I have worked with all these members of parliament, and that team would not be bad.
Who took Kosase?
One thing that I
Who
want
took
to...
Kosase?
It is Kosase, it is
Let me check.
Kivumbi.
Chavumbi's park.
It's Park.
Park,
Kosase should be who?
Let me check.
Segona has been in Kosase.
Yes.
Yes,
Segona is in
Yeah.
Kosase.
Yeah. First of all, apart from, because the problem is that the top leadership of opposition being headed by LOP.
Okay.
Once you change the
Let me-
position,
let me
once
give
you change
you-
the position of LOP, it is as if the whole cabinet has changed, which
but
was
there are
not
those
correct.
accountability committees
Is-
which are pertinent. I mean,
Yeah.
very
But I
important.
love the team.
Yes.
Committee.
The team is good.
Let me see these accountability committees. Okay, there is local government Bethel Ethel. Naima, she's very
I'm on
good.
local government, I'm with her, and she's very good.
She's very good.
She's very good.
I'm looking at.
was our deputy mayor.
Yes.
Okay, Kosase Medad Segona with Alan Mayanja,
Yes.
Sebunya as deputy. Park Central, Mwanga Chivumbi, good. Deputy Namuga Gorethi,
Yeah.
she's good.
Namuga is good.
She's good. Government Assurance, Abedi Bwanika,
Yeah.
she's good.
I'm telling you that I
Deputized by Joyce Bagala.
I don't doubt the cabinet.
Yes.
For the opposition that was brought in. It is
Gilbert
it is
Park
Olanya.
local
good.
government, I'm looking for Park local government, I think.
Gilbert
Oh,
Olanya.
Gilbert Olanya is good. He has experience. I think he has a good team.
No, the
I
team
think
is
it
good.
might also, you know me as a student of management, for you to get the best out of your team, also the character of the leader, the methods of leading the team are key.
So
I believe
you have questions on the character of the leader.
No, I don't have questions on Senyonyi. I worked with Senyonyi at UBC. I know him. What I want to encourage him is that he should be a leader that listens
Okay.
and takes advantage of the knowledge that he has from his team, so that he can get the best from them. But if you become a problem, you
Okay.
cannot get the best.
We'll
And
be
I ask
going
him,
to a break, but when we return, I'll
By
give
the way,
you.
I've judged Senyonyi during this dispensation. He's a good listener.
Okay.
He's not like other
Thank you.
chairpersons who talk all the time. He's a good listener.
Thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you so much, the panel. Let's go for a break and we'll return. Again, we'll conclude on this issue of the new opposition cabinet and bring on the issue of privileges that are being extended to retired government officials. Let's go for a break and return after a short while. Welcome from the break. This is the last segment of the dialogue this morning. My name is Tim Apollo. On the panel, Honorable Stephen Mauku Mgole, the Member of Parliament for Kabweri County, a trade unionist and a hotelier. We have him on the show. We have Dr. Gerard Wansara, but we'll be joined by a special guest in the final segment. But basically, we're looking at the new opposition cabinet, shining a spotlight on what the shuffle means at this particular point in time, most especially that we're looking at 2026, there around the corner. And one issue we can look at as we wind up, Dr. Gerard Wansara, is the practice of democracy at play. Me, I actually liked the way the National Unity Platform is handling issues. You are a leader, you come into office, you serve, you go, others also come. I don't know if you think it is one particular quality we can pick out of this. If you mpuga, well, you're good, you've actually performed and actually outperformed some others who came before you, but it is time to go. You go.
Well, I will not be naive to entirely say it's democracy at play, but usually there are so many factors that determine. Like in today, I told you that there is a context of the national politics and the upcoming elections. That you have an office of law, which is very important, with a budget of about 12 billion a year.
Yeah.
And therefore, you want to empower someone who is very loyal to you. That can be a factor. I'm not saying it's what determined this, but it can be a factor. Then the other is that it's not the first time. The FDC kept changing leaders of opposition. Sometimes it's determined by the internal dynamics within.
But many of them to take a second term.
Not necessarily.
Not really.
Not necessarily.
It was
Actually,
Latigo.
It's only Latigo who finished 5 years.
Yes.
Oh.
The rest have all taken 2.5.
2.5. Nandala Mafari 2.5. Winnie Kiza
2.5.
Beta Wall.
2.5.
Yeah, Beta Wall, Chad.
So they kept changing, but largely it used to be determined by internal politics.
Politics.
Like
The internal
when
party
there was a
politics.
change of leadership in Najanankumbi, there are people who wanted loyal. People were like Murisha Muntu wanted people who were loyal to him, like Winnie Kiza. And then at that time when Wafula Ogutu was
Isn't it good practice anyway?
it is
Change,
good.
it
It's
is.
actually good.
It is.
I'm actually so angry these days that people are falsifying age
To stay in office,
No.
in civil service.
Like how can you? We have an officer here heading a very key institution who changed his age 3 times and was grilled in the parliament there. How can you be a born of 1962? You're 1958, you're born of 1962, then you're born of 1968. The same human being. Then we have had people refusing to leave at the end of the day, coming back to the offices and things like that. It's a good practice generally. You bring in new energy, you bring in new skills.
You breathe in
bring
fresh air.
Exactly. It is good.
Okay.
And for me, this is what I even pray for this country.
Okay.
That even at the level of the head of state, we need a change.
Okay.
You know, when you stay too long, sometimes there's complacency. People who feel a sense of entitlement, it may be on religion or tribe or what.
So
they think they own
that
the
is a
institution.
positive to the Kamucha team.
Absolutely. But I want it working out, and I think the biggest test will be
Is
at
Joyce
the time-
Senyoin?
No, the biggest test I think will be when you want to change the principle.
Oh. Some positions are very sensitive. They could be very sensitive. And Honorable, what do you make of that good quality, that good practice of switching?
Yeah,
leaders?
whether the change was democratic or not, that one we don't know. But the way it has been played out is that there has been a change. So the most important thing we always look at is change is important, but it must be change which is necessary.
Oh.
I have seen this has come, I started with President Museveni in this current cabinet we have. And I think others are copying a leaf when he changed cabinet and even dropped people who were in very high positions and put them lower, but they accepted to serve. For example, if you get the former speaker, Right Honorable Kadaga, who was number 3, being dropped to number 8, being first deputy prime minister, and she's working and comfortably and very well. I think that is a good example that you can work in any position. So that is where I now say, yes, I think that was a good example, even if you removed Right Honorable Mpuga from the position of being leader of opposition. But because he has served well, you put him in another position. By the way, at the commission level also, Commission of Parliament, we have been having issues. And it is correct that the opposition puts somebody in Parliament as a commissioner who is as credible as the Right Honorable Mpuga. So I suppose that this change will do us well too. The only thing and I request is that the change should be for service delivery, not for bringing in political games. That will not play out well in the gallery. But if it is for service, we are going to work with them well.
We are in for it.
Just a minute.
A minute.
Before we switch to another.
No. Let me read this message out. And she says, of course, Mpuga was a good diplomatic and professional person. This will be the moment of truth. Parliament is not a battlefield. It's meant to be a meeting of intellectuals with capacity to sustain policy debates, not some of these sorts Of course. But we should also review what type of people we send to parliament. Uganda has a very good, intelligent, and very professional people who were frustrated and therefore withdrew, and a certain group of persons took over. Review some MPs, especially in NUP. They are mediocres. My name is Brenda. React to her comment before you.
I'll even comment on that.
I think, you know, she's right. Because Parliament is a deliberative assembly.
Yes.
True.
That you go there to deliberate on important issues.
Yeah.
It's not a boxing house. So I think she's spot
So
on. And then
is,
the other,
is she saying if indeed Joyce Senyonyi has been picked to go and lead the pack to confront and like in the formation of football as an attacking force,
Yeah.
then that may not be right.
yeah, it will not
It's what she's saying.
And she also mentioned something about vetting people we take to Parliament.
Parliament.
Let me tell you, we are now having a crisis in local government in Wakiso. You also live in Wakiso district.
Yeah,
like
true.
me. Most of our councillors of NUP have fled to
To Europe.
Canada,
Yes.
to Middle East, to Europe. They are not in the council. But people did not know why. It was just an umbrella. It was the umbrella. So how do we make citizens appreciate these roles and put the right people there?
Oh yeah.
We know a member of parliament in the last parliament, I think he's back from Chisoro. That MP does not attend parliament. He stays in the village, he drinks waragi with his people from trading centers.
At least I know him. Okay.
Yes, I will not mention the name.
Cannot mention
So,
him.
but people, when I went, I sent my researchers there, they were saying, but this is the one
We know.
we want.
Yeah, he has money. He gives
So
them
why
money.
did you send him to parliament if you want him in the village?
He has a lot of money. Honorable, on Brenda's comment.
Yeah, Brenda is spot on, and but I will tell him the 11th Parliament. I will tell her the 11th Parliament has been rated as the one which has brought in more qualified MPs than any other.
Oh.
Currently, it has more professional members of Parliament. Though during the elections, maybe out of turmoil or what, it happened that some people were brought on board who were not to the test of Parliament. But in the upcoming Constitutional Review Commission, these are areas that we need to really put forward.
Okay.
That in order for somebody to be a member of Parliament, there are certain yardsticks somebody should do have.
Okay.
Am I on? Because I don't see the...
I'm trying to look at the messages coming in. And yes, Richard Baguma. Okay. Good. You can send in your comments and observations, but we now have to switch to another topic. And it's all about the privileges being extended to retiring government officials. And this relates to an incident or a development this week when the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Among, handed over 5 luxurious vehicles estimated to have cost 3 billion Ugandan shillings to retired speakers of Parliament. Ambassador Francis Kutajira, Professor Edward Rugumayo, Haji Moses Chigongo, Ritwara Rebecca Kadaga, all received new vehicles. I don't know what you make of such a gesture, Dr. Gerald Wanzara, especially looking at the backlash it caused in the public with people relating it to what is happening, the harsh economic situation the country is going through. But again, we are buying very expensive vehicles for retired, and some of them actually who are still in office, like Edward Kiwanuka II. He holds different portfolios. He has privileges from those offices. But again, you give him a new vehicle, which will be serviced by government, fueled by government, and it will be replaced every 5 years, whatever happens. It has a driver, it will be paid by parliament, and many other privileges. What do you make of it? We have little time, but please handle it very well.
I saw that matter being discussed and debated on social media, on TVs, and so forth. But I think it was somehow approached from a point of ignorance from the public. One, I want to tell the viewers that there was an amendment to the Parliament Pensions Act that provided that all speakers who served Uganda after 1979 are entitled to not only the car, it is a car, and then 60%, equivalent to 60% of the salary, the current salary of the serving speaker.
Security.
And then the other benefit was a medical allowance of about 660,000. And then the law also prescribes the size of the car that a person should get. And there are 2 workers, domestic workers, that are paid by the state, and then security, 2 security guards. So those are the benefits, meaning that all speakers who served, and then their spouses, if in case someone died, can also benefit from the other benefits like the money. So in the event that someone did not have a wife like the late Honorable Olanya, then the benefit can go to biological children.
Okay.
And the reasoning was that because the previous law provided that they would only pay the speakers who served beginning with 2007.
Yeah.
But then the MP said, but you know, there are many who are leaving, Rugumayo, Butajira, and others. I think for me, if a leader serves, they deserve to be, you know, they don't have to live as paupers. My only problem is the contradiction in the laws. We have a person like the former Vice President, Edward Chwan Kasekandi, under the presidential privileges as a former Vice President. He's entitled to a list of things, security, the car, allowances, money, and then the pension. Okay? So if you receive all those and you are still driving government cars, why should you get a second car? That is the thing. We have a serving Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, who is still earning from the consolidated fund as a member of parliament and as a minister in government. She shouldn't be getting a car of a speaker. Does she sit in 2 cars? So I think we have to distinguish. At the end of the day, it looks like we are practicing predatory practices of taking from the poor taxpayer. That is where, for me, the problem is. So
you agree then that there is a reason for this huge backlash?
Yes, there's a reason. And then the other that I really want to urge our leaders to desist from, this parading, you know. If the speakers are entitled to a car and some money, why do you have to decorate cars at Christmas time with a red carpet, and then you go and parade them at Parliament for the whole country to see? What are you trying? Is it your
So you would prefer that the privileges, that these benefits are handed out in secrecy?
Because they are not the only ones who are getting these privileges. The judges.
It's a gesture of accountability. It's a sign of she's doing it in public.
Not really.
In camera.
Not really. I think the Public Relations Department of Parliament needs to improve the way some of these things. You know, sometimes psychophancy can cause problems. That you are a technical person there, you are supposed to advise Parliament on the PR, but you are not doing your job. It was not necessary to decorate those cars and parade there and make the Honorable Speaker to go and parade the Honorable Chigongo and many others there. It was not necessary.
Okay, Honorable Stephen, tell us what you think, because actually looking at the economic situation Ugandans are living in, and then you dish out those monsters to people who are even enjoying other privileges. Some people looked at it as a form of provocation. You are provocating the masses to rise. I don't know what you make of such.
Yeah, just like my brother here said, the backlash was out of ignorance. There is even further ignorance that I have even heard here. It is not that somebody will get a salary as a minister and also as a member of parliament. You get one salary.
Yeah.
You'll get one. In fact, all of us get as members of parliament. A minister will just get some few other allowances, but the salary is the same. Equally, because you have been deputy speaker, you are now speaker, you are vice president, you have been deputy speaker now for Right Honorable Sekandi, who was deputy speaker, speaker, vice president. It does not mean that because they provide that you'll have 2 security guard, 2 domestic workers, he now has 6. No, he has 2. They don't provide for each and every position. They will provide for the most high.
But the vehicles
Nothing.
are 2.
Yeah, even if that, so does he have 3 vehicles for being deputy speaker and for being speaker and for being vice president? No, they provide 1. And even with the vehicles are prescribed how many cc's of a vehicle that will be provided to the former speaker. I have just lost a father who has been an old man. An old person needs really a lot of pampering. If somebody who has served this nation so diligently, it is not good for that person to be a pauper. And what I can tell you also is that when they provide this new vehicle, they withdraw the old ones. It's not that the old ones are for you. No, they have given you a new vehicle. They are going to withdraw the old ones, and they will be put in other government departments. So they will remain with only these new vehicles, which are comfortable for a back of an 80-year-old man.
Really?
Which has a pressure sponge with just a button, so that it can hold the back in one position
So you're sure
when it's moving.
the old ones did not have that comfort?
They didn't.
Okay.
The old ones. That's why there are these new ones. And for putting it as if, because it's the first time they have given them at a go. So the public needed it to know.
What about...
maybe the timing of Christmas time or whatever, but that's when the vehicles arrived. They didn't arrive years ago. They arrived during that Christmas time. So you don't refuse to give them. In fact, it can even be like a Christmas gift. I don't find any problem in that because people needed to know. Then it was budgeted for.
People
don't talk about the economics when this matter was budgeted for. The money for those vehicles was budgeted.
Honorable, we know that we have had a challenge with priorities. Kampala capital city was given only 2 billion just recently to fix the potholes. I think it is FC doing the work, and it is because they are pouring in soil because they say that there is no money. There's no money to fix the roads the way they but we can afford.
My brother here talked about the dinosaur.
We can
potholes.
But we can now get 3 billion to buy luxurious cars for retiring government officials for only 5 people. Do you find logic in that?
The logic I find is that all these steroids are going to be worked on.
When?
Even in our next financial year, the steroids are going to be worked on. That is why currently they are just fixing the potholes for time being.
Don't you agree that that is somehow provocative? You're provoking the masses.
It would. Nobody is happy with the potholes we have in Kampala city. That's what I'm saying. My brother here the other time termed them as dinosaur potholes, as if a dinosaur came and walked in the city.
Okay.
But it was raining. You can see that now the potholes are being fixed with those 2 billion shillings. We are getting a loan for particularly these city roads. we are also going to provide it in the budget framework papers we are handling currently. City roads are going to be worked on.
I'm happy.
So we just have to fix the potholes
I
only.
learned last evening when we were with the president, I learned that at times there are things that happen in this country and maybe the president is not aware.
Yes.
If you watched, the president had the view that Kampala is not so bad. It's not so bad.
Can I say that?
He never sees the shortage of taxis in the evening, how 3 girls sit on a border speeding at 100 kilometers per hour to drop them in Chireka, sometimes crashing in Nakawa.
My brothers,
those reports.
My brothers, I can tell you that Kampala is not so bad. Looking at now the clock tower area, how things are being.
That's not Kampala.
That's the
Kampala
is. So, okay. in what context was he saying?
Yeah,
if you are talking,
was saying,
for me today, if I'm coming from my home in Zambia to enter town, in 3 minutes, I will be in town because of those roads.
His Excellency, the President, agreed that the roads outside the city are so good, and we agree.
Yeah.
But he himself narrated what he was a report he received. I think it's not a report; it's a confession from someone that somebody, I think he's very almost that he spent 2 hours from Mbalala to Kampala, but spent 3 hours from
Tiengera here to
yes,
no, even as you come from the east,
from the east,
1 hour and a half up to
reach up to Mukono. From Mbalala up to Mukono is 1.5 2 hours. Then from Mukono to Kampala, 4 hours.
Don't you find it really strange in a city, a busy city that we expect to have good infrastructure to facilitate free movement and fast movement of people? Then that is a big challenge. But he was saying again that actually even the roads that some of the roads that are coming through the city, that they are okay, that you can okay, he talked about Hoima Road, that from Hoima to post office is okay, but we told him no.
But His Excellency knows that when he's traveling, they always close all the roads so he passes along.
That is why I told you
and
that
he
I
passes
actually, that's when I learned that probably the president is not aware of some few things, and I think it is true. Of course, when they are taking him through the town, they look for possibly.
And I'm also
the road is
the president.
Okay.
Let the president stop closing Kololo. You can have your function in Kololo, but
okay.
Last week I was rotating in Kololo like a headless chicken. You know, you go
find
here
it
it's blocked. You go here it's blocked because they are.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And here is a message. Thanks for the show, Apollo. Most Ugandans after services, not leadership. He is Pastor Henry in Solonko district. I think he's saying the positions in leadership do not matter for them. Ugandans want service delivery.
Yeah, but the leaders deliver services.
It is the leaders. It is the leaders who actually deliver services. Being a speaker in Uganda grants you ability to support yourself in this suffocating economy. They have enough than we think. All such money would be directed to other paramount issues that are beneficial to all Ugandans. Please, there is nothing more we can listen to. I am Jane in Kamuli district. Thank you so much.
That's why she's making a comment.
Jane in Kamuli.
A Ugandan recently was asking me that government is borrowing for climate smart agriculture. Is it giving SIM cards to our God service?
Yeah, but again, gentlemen, we should also speak to the should I call it injustice? Some people in this country earn much more than I mean the disparity. There is a big, huge disparity between what people earn compared to others.
Yeah, that is coming up.
I think that is what she's trying to
yeah,
point
but
out,
it's coming
that
up in
people
the
are receiving those already people who have already are even receiving more, while others are starving. I think that is the message.
That's why there is a rationalization in Uganda currently. That is why next year, January, February, the bills that are coming before Parliament that have been paraded includes that one of unification. I mean, having
Salary review.
a salary
Where
review.
is the salary review?
Yeah, we are bringing it. I'm on the Public Service
Okay.
Committee.
That is good.
That is bringing it, so I'm sure.
Yeah, because you wonder if you have a service
I would have a salary review commission.
earning 400. We have teachers who earn less than 500.
And
every
soldiers.
month. And soldiers.
Leave that. You say they are
Members of parliament
drivers.
who are
This is
lucky.
a driver in the state council.
You-
This is a driver. They are all government drivers. Another one is earning 70 million. Another
You members
300,000.
of parliament you members of parliament who are lucky to determine your pay are earning better, while others are
Yes.
grappling.
And by the way, it is 10th Parliament you determine the pay of 11th Parliament. 11th Parliament has never changed the pay. What we found is what we are getting. That's why
Okay.
even fuel we are paying
Okay, our- this is the message.
3,800.
There was a court ruling that stopped you people.
Yeah, even the president, I think, at one point he said, "No, stop." Our persons, I read it out as it is written. Our persons responsible in certain offices and capacities should be able to see and know some of these challenges and dilemmas even before they happen. Even MPs and government were taken by surprise. They didn't know there was such a provision. Review and streamline some of these provisions before they appear to us, the public. Also, remember expiry of budgets. Parliament could have been in a dilemma on unspent budget, so they seek an expenditure. Is he talking about the supplementary budget? Because
What is he talking about? The cars? That's-
let me
Maybe.
see. Oh, she's Brenda again, and
Who said we will not listen to anymore?
no, Brenda came.
Ah,
before.
Brenda is the one who came before.
And we have to wind up, gentlemen. I think we have agreed that the act, the pension, Parliamentary Pensions Act, has issues. Did you agree on that?
Yes.
When I
It
was
has
not here?
issues.
Which issues does it have?
No, it needs an
No,
amendment.
having
to avoid
people
this
who are
contradiction,
already in
who have other-
office
Yes.
and they also
They are
earn
still earning.
other
Like
benefits.
the Honorable Kadaga is driving a government car, we know it. She has security. Does she have to be paraded in the parliament there to receive another car?
Yeah, but obviously the other is going to be withdrawn. As I talk now, the other should have been
It
withdrawn.
will not. I will take you to Kamuli. I will-
Okay, viewers, thank you so much for staying with us. As we wind up, gentlemen, let's give these few minutes to advocacy against alcohol consumption in this country.
And it's December.
And as we go into a festive season, people would want to celebrate in different ways. And alcohol, the alcohol burden is really serious. I recently attended an event, and I was told that the cost of treating alcohol effects is very, very expensive. Actually, they told us 2 million every month to treat the effects of alcohol consumption, drinks consumption. And it's good we have an expert in the studio and to talk about this issue. Let me introduce him. And he is Professor Nazarius Mbona. I'm happy to have you on the show. He's from Makerere University School of Public Health. Please speak to our viewers, and we kick off that discussion on advocacy against alcohol consumption.
Thank you so much. I hope the machines are working properly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. My name's Nazarius Mbona Tumwesije, and as you've said, I'm a professor at Makerere University School of Public Health. And I think I've written quite a lot about alcohol in this country. You well know that we are right now, the Parliament is trying to discuss the alcohol bill, and I participated in really getting evidence for this, for the policy, and also which led to the bill. So I'm quite knowledgeable of what has been going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've said it all. There's a high alcohol burden, alcohol consumption burden in this country. There are so many, lots of statistics about this. Just a few of these. This year, we WHO actually found out that actually Uganda is topping Africa again in terms of alcohol consumption.
True.
Yeah, per capita alcohol consumption. And I hope members know that Uganda is among the leading, a study which was carried out to look at over 10 countries on negative effects when you take alcohol. It was led by Professor Graham from Canada. And it found out that actually among negative outcomes of alcohol, Uganda is leading.
No.
When you say negative outcomes, you're talking about intimate partner violence or domestic violence. You're talking about just beating people or being beaten. You're talking about having an accident. You're talking about all sorts of falling sick and all sorts of negative things that come with alcohol consumption. So Uganda tops. It tops on so many other things. You well know that 40% of our ladies have ever experienced
Gender-based
partner
violence.
violence. And when you go to analyze data to look at what are the major causes, you find it's connected to alcohol consumption. Every other day we hear accidents, border, whatever. I did a study which called case control study, where you are looking at those who are in hospital and comparing to them with those who are the border borders in hospitals and the border borders in the stages where those who are in hospitals have been operating from. And we looked at the differences. I want to show you that alcohol consumption again was a major factor into this. And productivity. There's so much evidence which shows how, I mean, you drink areas where you have high productivity, people are less likely to get into that alcohol consumption. And we're talking about largely alcohol abuse. What's very prevalent in this country is alcohol abuse. Alcohol is so much abused. I did a study and found out that actually over 90% of people in the UK take alcohol. Did you know what percent take alcohol in Uganda? Around 55% adults. So why the fuss? Why should we so much be concerned about Uganda? The biggest problem is those who take alcohol in Uganda, they're 55%. They take about 3 times more than the alcohol of people in the UK. People in the UK take a glass and they go to bed. You see? But then here's someone who wants to take alcohol and it reaches here. And all sorts of negative things come up.
I recently traveled up country and I looked at people whose lives have been wasted just because of alcohol. That translates into less productivity.
Yeah.
I mean, like he said, gender-based violence. These people, I mean, they end up their homes broken, and then when you talk about borders, we are told even the emergency ward in Mulago is always full, and some of the reports that are coming out,
And crime.
they are alcohol related.
Crime.
So finally, you think it is really timely. I mean, the alcohol drinks control bill in Parliament, which is now before Parliament, it is really, really timely.
Thanks so much. I really wish all our dear parliamentarians, all our MPs support this bill 100%. It's meant to bring sanity. It's meant to increase our productivity. It's meant to increase to reduce our crime rate. It's meant to everything. Everybody's going to benefit in this. And alcohol industry. I don't know why alcohol industry is so much really, saying all sorts of things against this alcohol bill.
You know it. They are getting a lot of money.
Yeah, now to all the alcohol industry in this country, my message is you are going to get lots of money, better money, cleaner money, if you can actually make your people, get people more healthy. You see, if you have a healthy clientele, you earn more in the long term. You see, you don't go for quick money and then your clientele is dead after
What
some time.
do you think, because in the interest of time, what do you think should be done? I mean, either through that regulation or what? In regulation, what do you think should be done?
No, first of all, let our MPs actually support this 100%, and we go with this. Now, the more after that, definitely in the bill is going to be implementation of this bill. You see, you have guidelines on what who is supposed to be arrested, how long is going to be arrested. For example, now you really you serve alcohol to a minor, you go to jail.
Yeah, true.
And we want action. We want this enforced.
I saw in the bill you people are the bill sets 18.
Yeah,
But-
21 years
But
actually.
even
We are saying that
the
alcohol consumption goes
these,
to...
these people who are pushing for amendment for the age limit to be set at 21.
Yeah, 21 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a person to be allowed to buy alcohol.
Yes.
Then the time for drinking
Yep.
in that proposed bill has also been, in the proposed
Contested.
bill, has been set to during working days between 4 to 10
Yeah,
p.m.
that's right.
On weekends,
Yeah, it's longer.
4 to midnight.
Yeah, correct.
Finding you selling alcohol outside that time period, you are liable for imprisonment. I think it is
Correct.
It is 10 million. I don't know. Briefly, 1 minute and 1 minute, Honorable. Do you think it is very important looking at the negative effects of alcohol consumption? We already have an award. As
Extremely
Uganda, we have an award.
award of leading the negative
leading
side.
drinkers.
Leading the negative side. It is extremely important to control alcohol consumption, considering the peripheral effects that come with alcohol. We have already elucidated them here, very ugly ones, by the way. But being a hotelier also, a professional hotelier, the timings that are talked about, we shall be handling this bill, we shall to make amends. There are certain established places like a hotel
Exactly. Those are okay.
where
In
you
the bill, I
cannot
think those are okay.
put time limits. So when we shall try to put some cages of a certain area, because I'm receiving my tours at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
At Sheraton, for example, they are arriving by Air Uganda, but they are arriving at 2 a.m. and they have a right to go to the bar.
Yeah.
Because the bar is open. So if it is in an established place, there should be certain ways how we are going to handle it. It can come out in regulations or whatever. But the producers, they should know that they will continue. They will continue selling, but
Honorable-
in a regulated
Honorable,
manner.
I heard from these people saying they are not against, they are not pushing for a ban on alcohol, because even in Arab countries, the people who,
Yes.
Islamic countries,
There is alcohol.
they also, okay, for their reasons and what, but it must be regulated. They are saying, if you look around, look at people who, you remember the circuits, those circuits in Buveras, alcohol in Buveras.
We regulated, first of
Illicit.
all. You
That's
see, the
illicit.
issue is, my colleagues, is that there is nothing that you can just leave without regulation.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can just leave without
Sincerely.
regulation.
Okay.
Those Uveras were
Dr.
killing
Gerard
people.
Were Wanzala, why did we take long to act?
Actually, sometimes I wonder, you know, lately I'm a road safety activist in the Road Safety Coalition Uganda. And one of the major causes of accidents is alcohol consumption.
True.
And of course, when I looked at the statistics, almost 50-something% of the alcohol consumed in Uganda is illicit alcohol.
Yeah.
The government even doesn't know who is making this warrant from where.
From where?
But you go to places, in COVID, I had a colleague in security who moved with me to say, Gerard, you come and see how our country is. We moved around Lower Naguru, down there. And then we also moved to Kasoko. So I can tell you, I almost cried. At 8 a.m., the parents are drinking, they're chewing mairunji, The children are watching.
Aviation fuel.
Yeah, people are urinating there, you know. At the end of the day, it's like a jungle. Now, what are we doing about that alcohol? That cheap alcohol, 1,000 or 500 packed in a plastic bottle, you know? And that's where the alcohol is really being abused. You go to all our trading centers. Bubutu Town Council,
Actually, in the law, the proposed law, they want alcohol to be sold in gazetted places, licensed.
Yes.
that is how it should be.
Not on roadsides,
Yeah.
in markets and everywhere, which I
Dr.
think is
Nazaria.
also.
I
will
can
say
even tell you that as you go and you're passing Kakira, on the roadside, you see that stench there.
It's called Wanyama something.
Wairaka, whatever there. Alcohol, waraji, crude waraji is sold on the roadside. So very, with the alcoholic volume of almost 50%, because it even catches fire.
Yeah.
And somebody is just drinking it directly because it's not regulated.
Yes, when you
Yeah,
pour
it
it
is.
on
It's
the-
not
It can catch fire.
regulated.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like-
true.
Yeah, it catches fire. You can use it in fact like paraffin in a candle and it will just work.
And you consume it.
Yes.
That is fuel.
Yeah.
On Professor Nazarius, I give you now 3 minutes because we are closing the show.
Okay.
I want you to speak to. I would like you to speak to something also that I picked from this recent event. That all rehabilitation centers, treatment centers for alcohol addicts, including Butabika, these who abuse alcohol and other, they are all full.
Actually,
filled up
Butabika
to
is
the-
over.
It's full.
It's full.
Yeah, it is true. It just there's no bed left in Putabika. I want to tell you this. And we are talking about young people, because alcohol abusers are not very old people. These are middle aged.
Yeah.
That's 15, 35. Those are the people.
People are supposed to be productive.
That's the productive. They're supposed to be our leaders. So this is a goal. And if rehabilitation centers are very expensive. Actually, you talked of 1 million. No, it's
2 million. It-
Yeah, 2 million. Yeah,
2
that's
million
right.
every month.
Yeah, it can even be actually even higher. Because I know one where they charge 70,000 shillings. So 30 days per day. That's 2.1 million. And you are not including other things. So it's true, all these are full. And the only way, the only savior is all of us embracing the bill. I want to tell everybody, to remind everybody, me, I had some kind of wisdom during Idi Amin. I want to tell you, in my area, I come from Kabale district. I saw how alcohol ban was enforced.
Yeah.
There was nothing like drinking in the morning. No. I remember very clearly.
Yeah.
Even on Sunday, people go to church and then for you stay on the bar burning, on the bar drinking. No, I remember the chiefs rounding up people who are not going to church and reading a Bible for them. You see, some were actually slashed, given some slashes. So it's possible. And remember, during the meantime, we produced 4.5 million bags of coffee. Productivity of the country was very, very high, and we broke that record recently, by the way. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much, our viewers, and it's time we close the show. I was also very concerned about another statistic, that alcohol causes 8 types of cancers. Alcohol consumption causes 8
Liver,
cancers.
lung.
Starting from the mouth through the esophagus. Actually, we
yeah.
had a testimony of somebody whose esophagus was removed.
Yeah, you
because of
remember,
alcohol.
was it this professor?
The liver, the kidney.
Yeah.
There are many cancers associated to
The one who was the MP for the Nansana, whose son took over, Robert Sebunya. Sebunya died of a cancer due to alcohol.
really.
Yeah, which came and finished the throat. And
So,
he couldn't speak.
viewers, we think it is very important to bring out this information as we go out to celebrate Christmas and New Year. Don't risk, because we have been told the road crashes. A big factor in road crashes is also alcohol consumption. We should know about these consequences. In just last word, your last word.
About the same. This year, I had lost one friend due to liver problems. Then I have a medical doctor, a colleague. We belong in the same investment club. who crashed, also of course under the influence.
Of alcohol.
Yes, and his car was written off and he has been home for a while. I have another friend, he's an international HIV expert, also who crashed in a car and he has been home.
So lives are seriously being lost.
Exactly, because of
Of
drinking.
alcohol. Say Merry Christmas to the people and we go.
Yeah, I started with that, but it's not bad to say it again. Merry Christmas, our viewers. I don't know if it's our last show of the year.
No,
but
it's okay. It's okay. No, towards
is.
Christmas it is. But we may come back to crown the whole. I mean, to
the issues of the year.
the whole year.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Honorable.
Yeah, thanking again my people who came to escort the late engineer Mauku when he passed on, my father. I'm very happy. I wish you good festivities during this time and a prosperous new year.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Professor.
Yeah, I wish the viewers Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year with very cautious alcohol consumption. If you can actually stop alcohol consumption.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Professor Nazarius Mbona from Makerere University School of Public Health. You have an ally here in your advocacy for alcohol regulation. My name is Simapolo. Let's wish you a Merry Christmas and a happy season. Until we meet again next Saturday. Good afternoon. God bless Uganda.